How we doing? Happy Monday. Monday is my mentoring day, so I spend the day mentoring my team. So I've been in a bunch of Zoom calls and hangouts all morning, which has been fantastic. And I'm taking a quick break to be here with you guys, answer some questions, try to bring some love. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. I also want to introduce you to a new friend of mine, so we'll see when he joins in here. And hey, Cyrus Webb in the house. Cyrus, man, been a long time. Welcome aboard. Cyrus is a good dude. Cyrus is a how do we explain Cyrus Webb? Cyrus has his I think I met him I did an interview on his show. He's got an amazing show. He has amazing questions, super thoughtful, super inquisitive, curious. And then when I had my Thought Leadership Academy, he messaged me to say, "Hey, everybody who came to your Thought Leadership Academy, I'd love to do a one-on-one interview with them." And it was awesome. So a lot of them was their very first interview. And again, super caring, super creative. So go check him out. Cyrus Webb Presents. Anyway, I want to introduce you to wait, I see you, Don. I want to introduce you to a new friend of mine, Don, who I'm trying to bring in, but it's not letting me. Let me see what's happening here. Don, I'm clicking your name, but it's not letting me bring you in. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's find Don. Where's Don? Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Where's Don? Don. Where are you? There he is. Okay. Don, I can't click on your name. I don't know what's not working. Don, if you maybe leave and join in and press the request button so I can bring you in. I want to introduce you guys to a special entrepreneur who just hit my radar recently, and I think his story is going to resonate with you guys. So let's wait for Don. Zane the Man Smith in the house. Welcome aboard, Zane. Great to have you. We got all the Believe Nation hardcores in the house today. I love it. The real Don Costa. There, I see you. I see him saying what's up. Can I click? I can click and go live. Hold on. Let's try this. Let's see. Okay, Don, I sent you a request. Hey, it's happening.
It worked.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, ladies and gentlemen, the real Don Costa, host of the Flip Talk show. He and I are at the same agency. Our mutual friend Steve Carlos, who's in New York from Two Market Media, and he said, "Evan, you got to meet Don. You guys got to talk. You got to do something together." So here we are. Welcome aboard. For my audience who's not super familiar with you yet, what's the status on Don Costa? What's the quick story?
The quick story, I'm an entrepreneur born and bred. Real estate investing is my widget. Instead of going out and building a factory, I started investing in real estate and found that to be something that fit like a glove. I'm a two-time, start over. I started in real estate investing back in 2003 and 2008 because I was a tool and thought everything I touched turned to gold, and I was unstoppable and a bad leader and a bad business person. I got taken down hard, and over a period of years lost everything and rebuilt my business in 2012. I had $1 million judgment against me when I rebuilt my business in 2012, and I climbed out of that hole, and now I have a real business, and it's 2020, and we're navigating 2020 in a big way, and just excited to be here.
I love it. Well, here's what I was thinking. I was looking through some of your stuff, and you could talk about a whole bunch of things.
I can.
Which is great because of your entrepreneurial background, everything you've been through, and
Right.
On the personal side too. What I thought is, what if we throw it open to the audience for questions that we could take and see what they've got and see how we can help them?
100%. I'm open book. Whatever they need, if I can contribute, I will.
Got it. So you guys have a question. Don't put it in the chat. Use the question mark box, and we'll bring them in and see how we can give you some value. Okay, here we go. Let's go. What is the best way to manage time and be productive?
Oh, I mean, there are 1,000 ways I could probably answer that. It depends, I think, a lot on your own personality. I am ADD, and I think first and foremost, I think it's knowing how you work and how you're best productive, right? Knowing, like for instance, my greatest creativity time of day is late at night when my family's asleep and it's quiet, and I'm the most productive and the most creative. So knowing that, I use using my time wisely based on my skill sets, number one. Number two, then it's time blocking and making sure that I eliminate distractions for myself, the squirrels, And, so for me, it's just like I said, using my time wisely, time blocking, making sure that I'm disciplined about what I'm doing, creating habits, routines around things that make me successful are very important to me. So if you're not ADD and you're a structured person, you're probably going to handle things a little differently, but that's kind of my canned answer.
One of the entrepreneurs I invested into has ADD and struggles, with it, and struggles a lot with creating the schedule and sticking to the schedule and getting distracted constantly. And what we discovered was you can get distracted by the squirrels pretty easily. And let me know if this resonates with you, because this is just something that worked for him. I don't know if it's a necessarily a recipe for everybody, but he can fall into things very quickly. And so what he ended up doing was, most people see that as a negative of, I super get distracted and now I feel super negative because one thing happened. He switches it so that at the 59 of every hour, so like 1:59, 2:59, 3:59, he puts on a song that he can jam with and just goes crazy in his home office right now because he's working from home like we all are. And he can slip into state changes really quickly. So most people just think it as, oh, I got distracted by that thing and now I feel negative, or now I've just wasted a bunch of time. But when he's feeling low and negative energy, a lot of people can sit with that and they're in it for days or weeks or months. He can shift it in a second because of the ADD. And so he forces that on himself. So his phone goes off at the 59 mark of every hour, and he gets up and starts dancing to an awesome song to force a state shift to positive.
Right.
Does that?
Yeah, it does. It does to a certain degree. I mean, you got to give yourself permission, like I said, to kind of fall into, you got to know who you are, right? And fall into your best habits. I think a lot of times people that are trying to become an entrepreneur or entrepreneurs feel like we have to fit in someone else's box. You have to fit in the 9 to 5 or that kind of thing. And I've just learned that that's not my best use. I give myself permission to, leave halfway in the middle of the day if I'm not being productive, and go do something else to get my mind clear and come back and work when I'm going to be the most productive. That's something we can do when we work for ourselves, right? And, like I said, create habits and create routines that keep me kind of on track. I don't do shiny objects. I'm big on traction and like L10 meetings where we sit down and we have our pie in the sky, shiny object ideas, but we document those things and we continue to work on our purpose right then and there. So we feel like for instance, I feel like I have to chase everything, all the time. And so by documenting the great ideas, the big ideas, it allows me to focus on the work I need to focus on without chasing everything. And so that's part of the routines and the habits you create to keep yourself successful and keep yourself on track.
I love it. All right, next up we got ER equals Erasmus. So this guy's a hardcore Believe Nation fan. He's on a lot of the live streams. What do you do when you get stuck, Don?
I guess it depends on stuck in what. Like, is it stuck in mindset? Every once in a while you have a bad day and you kind of get stuck in a rut mindset wise. I've been very big at, working on training my thought process, training my brain. It's like a dog. You can tell it kind of where to go to the bathroom, right? I mean, and so that I stay, positive. And when I start to get down, I just reset back into, where I want to be, where I believe I should be. As far as when I get stuck, maybe up against the wall in an obstacle, again, it's the same thing. I think it's a mindset shift that you have as an entrepreneur. It's something I've just been doing for so long that obstacles to me are challenges, and I love challenges. So I think it's choosing how you view these things you come across in life. If you're having an obstacle, if you're having a bad day, if you're having an employee issue, if you're having a money issue, finding whatever it is that helps you reset your mindset and reset your purpose and your focus. For me, spending time with my kids helps me do that. It reinforces my why. My whole reason for getting up every morning, why I'm going to battle, why I'm putting the armor on every day. And so doing stuff like that's very important to me. Sitting down with my team sometimes will help me refocus because, when they're down, I got to be their cheerleader. When I'm down, they're my cheerleader. So I guess the answer for me is I surround myself with the right people and I try to keep my head on straight, as I talk that out.
I think the hardest thing for me is when something bad happens or when you fall off track is getting back on the horse in the day. Tomorrow's easy, at least for me. Waking up tomorrow and getting back at it in the morning routine, all that's great. But if something happens, like if I get a big headache in the early afternoon or got some bad news or something, which happens, to rebound and not kind of throw away the rest of the day. The thing that helps me the most, I think, is actually just getting outside. I just change the environment, get out of here, just get some fresh air, and then come back. Even if this doesn't have to be like a 4-hour walk, right? Just like 5 minutes outside, shifting the environment and getting some fresh air in my face. Almost always does the trick. I just have to remember to do it and not sit in the negative of that bad news that happened.
One of the things that I do too is I'll give myself permission to like kind of wallow in it for a minute. Like, okay, that sucks, but like, it's like a 5 minute, you know, you got 5 minutes to okay, this sucks. And then you got to move on. Like it's over it, you know? And so give yourself a deadline to take the impact and then get back up on your feet.
Do you have like a go-to YouTube channel or playlist or book source or something that gives you the ongoing inspiration and momentum?
You know, I don't have necessarily go-to YouTube channel to say. Music, like rock music, definitely is something that puts me in the right mindset. I will blast like Metallica or something. I'm an 80s boy. So, you know, I'll blast Metallica or something and some of the hair bands. And that definitely gets my mindset going. Like I said, spending time with my kids. It's just something that it's one of those things. I don't know. I like the fight too. Like I like the battles. For some reason, I feel like when I'm not up against an obstacle, I'm not serving my purpose, if that makes sense at all. So there's a part of me that feeds on it too, that almost, I don't know if it's like sadistically, but likes the challenge of being an entrepreneur and some of the things we face. The other thing too is quiet for me is another thing I like to do. Sometimes, you know, I just like to sit in a room and just with just silence and darkness, because then my mind gets to wander and start to get creative and starts to move away from, you know, that obstacle or that problem, if that makes sense.
I like how you go from blasting Metallica to absolute quiet.
Right. So it just depends on the day and the mood, right? So,
yeah. Greatest frontman of all time.
Oh God. I go back to Vince Neil, honestly, and he's probably not the greatest of all time, but I just remember being in middle school and just like air banging guitars and drums and you know, rocking out to Motley Crue. And so I can't say that he's necessarily the greatest, but he'll be the one that will always be the one I'm fondest of. Yeah.
All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Keep your questions coming, guys. You have two things that you love so much for business. How do you choose the one to focus on?
You know, if you're talking about an idea for a business, you got to sit down and I think just do the math. I mean, which one are you most passionate about at the end of the day? Which one's going to serve your purpose better? I mean, if they're, in all intents and purposes, assuming that they're equal, like which one's really going to feed your soul more? Because if you're not getting up every day wanting to fight, entrepreneurship, I mean, it's got some amazing advantages, but it's also got some really, really hard days. And it's got to be something that you're going to want to fight through those hard days for, you know? So, you know, I love, like, there's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm really, really good at real estate investing. I'm really good at flipping houses. I know the business inside and out, and it feeds me. It feeds my ADD. It feeds me economically. I get to serve people. My team gets to make money. And so why chase all these other things, you know, that are ancillary to that aren't going to serve the same purpose for me internally, if that makes sense.
I think there's a real opportunity for people to take those 2 or 3 things that they like and smash them together.
Yeah.
And not do it as 2 different businesses, but like in the smashing them together is a unique business. Like looking at Flip Talk, you talk about flipping real estate and flipping your mindset.
Right.
In that smart, there's lots of people talk about real estate, and there's lots of guys who talk about mindset, but you've smushed them together, and that makes Flip Talk unique. And it's nice that the flip kind of, you know, the naming is a good play on both of them. I think that's what I think a lot of entrepreneurs could win if they just try to find a way to do both things at the same time, but not 2 separate businesses. It's one business combining them.
Yeah, I agree. I guess where I'm coming from on it is, you know, it depends if one's a distraction from the other, right? You got to really be able to mush them together, truly be able to mush them together. And, you know, otherwise, you know, you can't split and try to build a business and try to do 2 things at once. It becomes, you have to at least get one plate spinning first. But if you can truly mesh them together, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I think too, like the distraction thing, if you keep getting distracted by something, maybe that's the thing you should be doing.
That's true. Maybe it should be.
You know, like if you keep coming back to, man, I really want to do that. And it's not just this one-off thing, but it keeps coming back. Like maybe that's the thing you should be doing, or at least integrating that. Like if you're sitting there flipping homes, it's like, maybe I should have a podcast. Maybe I want to, nah, it's just a distraction. No, no, I really want to like if you keep coming back to it, maybe that becomes the thing.
Yeah, okay, so 2003, 4, 5, I flipped houses. I made a lot of money. Okay, so then I decided I was going to start a sunglass line, a baby bottle line, and open a restaurant and nightclub. And I was distracted. I had three offices. I had a brokerage. I was doing property management. I was doing lending, and I was flipping houses. When the market turned, I wasn't good at any one thing. We talk about the jack of all trades. So I agree. With Flip Talk, I did mush it together. But at the same time, okay, so we're in this space and now we're helping people. We're helping people grow their businesses and we're coaching them. But it's still in my lane to a certain degree. Like I'm still talking about real estate investing. Like it augments, it adds to my business and makes me better. And so the first time around, I was spread so thin that I wasn't a good leader anywhere. So that's the balance. It's finding that balance, right? And I didn't have my plate spinning properly. I was a bad leader. I was a bottleneck. Every decision had to come through me. So I wasn't treating my team like a real team. There was a lot of reasons why I went under. This time around, my team is self-sufficient. They know that their measure of success is that I never have to be there, that I can count on them. And then I do this now with Flip Talk and everything else I'm doing to add value. I get to talk to incredibly smart people like you and wonderful people around the country that help me grow as an individual, help me grow as a leader, and then I add to my business. So it's that balance.
Do you think there's a difference in how people with ADD need to manage or lead people compared to someone who doesn't have it?
I do. I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm big on personality tests. So there's predictive index, there's culture index, there's a Colby, there's a lot of personality tests out there. I'm huge because they not only allow you to know how to communicate with other people and understand how they make decisions, but they also give you a good look at yourself. And so like my personality type has a tendency to pop in and pop out. And if I'm not careful, I will not allow my team to really stand on their own feet or feel like they can make decisions, or I may pop in and undermine all the work that they've done under a certain point. And so I have to be conscious of that. I'm ADD. I'm popping in with this idea that I want to run with, or I'm popping in with, a deviation in the plan. But because I pop in and pop out and my team is more consistent, they're just going every day doing what they're supposed to be doing to a large degree, that can be a distraction if it's handled wrong. So understanding about myself, I have to take a deep breath, as I communicate, or I communicate an idea or a new direction, or I ask questions just to make sure that I'm making my team feel as valued as they are. And I am allowing them to really stand and again, be a true member of the team.
Do you think you need somebody to be like a 1-2 with you, or can you handle it all on your own?
Some people, in some cases, yeah, the right COO, the right operations person, the right integrator would be fantastic. I have a really, really good team. I have good department heads, and I guess they're the integrators for me. I tried to bring an integrator in at one point to separate between me and them. And as a leader, I failed to communicate the expectation to the integrator because I didn't really know what I needed. And they did more damage, I think, than good. The second time around, if I did it now, as entrepreneurs, we're always learning, right? We're always growing. So the second time around, now I understand what the position should look like. I can communicate that better, and I think really set them up for success. I think now it's just a matter of finding the right person. So,
and is that an operations focused person or HR focused person?
That an integrator. So we're as visionaries, right? If we're a visionary in our organization, we're always coming up with these ideas, these wild, crazy ideas, these things we want to implement, these things we want to push our business to or grow our business to. An integrator is supposed to take, at least in my book, right, my ideas and figure out how to make them work and insert them into your organization, right? So I can integrate if I have to, but it's brute force for me. So the right integrator is somebody that can say, okay, this is what Don wants to do. This is how he wants to make this thing happen. Let's find a way to implement that in the organization for the maximum profitability and health of the organization. That's what I'd be looking for. So it wouldn't be an HR person. It would be a true operations person.
I guess not HR person, just like people centric, like heart centric versus getting the stuff done. Because most ops people aren't great at the people side. And a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't necessarily great at the ops side. So like, just what's the lens through which you see that side of the business?
Culturally, from my organization, they would have to have a balance between ops and people. I mean, they'd have to have that balance. They'd obviously be somebody that would need to be able to set goals and drive the team to get those goals done, but they need to be able to do it in a manner that just really creates positivity for the team, and it wants the team to be part of what we're doing, right? It's the buy-in from the team. So I think a balance, the right person would be a balance between somebody that's a driver and a people person.
Got it. All right, cool.
For
Next
me, at
question we
least.
got.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How to stop overthinking and negative thoughts.
So that's a fantastic question, because we all overthink, right? And not the only answer, but I think the best answer I can give you is you just have to take action. Like, you have to just do it. You know, you can't, if you give yourself time to let fear and doubt set in, it's going to set in. And, you know, things like being in front of a mic, being on live like this, being on stage, those were things that at one point terrified me. Public speaking, man, just like tongue tied, cotton mouth. I couldn't do it. And I remember one time I was doing a talk from stage, and the worst thing happened. They had an old slide deck, and I had sent the new slides. For whatever reason, they put the old slide deck up. So I had to stop, like, right slide 2 of my talk and say, hey, you guys need to reset this. So I had this silence on stage. And I remember standing there, and I said to the audience, I'm like, you know, there was a point where just being on stage would have terrified me, and this situation would have destroyed me. And somebody said, well, what'd you do to get over it? And my answer was, I just did it. I just did it. I just took action. So I think one of the things that separates doers from the procrastinators or the people who are analysis paralysis is that ability to take massive imperfect action. You know, you got to get out there. You don't know what perfect looks like. You don't know what the right way looks like until you put yourself in there and do it. I don't know, you know, what an audience is going to respond to on stage unless I get up and have a talk on stage and then go back and Monday morning quarterback, like, what was good and what was bad. I don't know, you know, if a contract that I get into here is going to be necessarily good until I get into that contract and we do all our due diligence, you know. So that action, you start to learn what right looks like. You start to learn where your spot feels good, and that momentum, you know, that result, that even that win of just taking action starts to remove those negative thoughts, at least for me. And I found, I think for most people that I deal with, it's the same thing. It's just that massive imperfect action. That momentum really changes things for you. Where you really get stuck is when you sit and dwell on
it. I mean, we were talking about making a mindset flip or an identity flip. I mean, I think that's one of the best ones you can do, because anytime you allow that thing to overwhelm you and tell yourself that you can't do it, then the next time it happens, you just reinforce the same pattern. And the same thing happens again. Oh, and here it is. Yeah. I'm about to film again. Oh, no, I'm not capable. But anytime you just do it, to Don's, you know, massive imperfect action, just take action and do it. Then you start shifting your identity. You're flipping your identity to say, oh, no, I'm the person who actually follows through and does it, even though it's not perfect.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Okay, we got time for one more. Let's do one more. Bo Hawkins in the house. How to level up your business during COVID.
So in our business, just a few things we did is we took a hard look at our organization and we went through our P&L. We said, okay, what's fluff and what do we legitimately need? Like, we went through and we just cleaned house in our P&L. We went through our organization, said who we've been keeping. They were just keeping because they were just barely holding their head above water. We felt bad. We made some changes there. We looked at our organization and said, what can be virtual and what can stay internal? And we moved some of our organization to virtual. We have some, you know, we do Filipino VAs and different things like that for part of our operation now that we weren't doing before. So I think it's just taking a hard look at whatever your company is, whether it's brick and mortar or online, or like we're kind of half and half, right? And going, you know, where are the holes in our organization and shore those things up? That's number one, because if your foundation isn't strong, then you're not going to weather any storm. So I guess reassessing, you know, the strength of your foundation. And that's the first thing that we did when COVID hit. Then we went through our operation and went, okay, what kind of changes can we make to make sure that we are, you know, navigating this process properly, what's going on in COVID properly? Do we know our numbers, like our KPIs, our key performance indicators? What's changing there? How are people responding to our marketing? You know, what's our sales cycle? Is our sales cycle longer? We just went through and we took a hard look at our entire organization and said, where do we got to shore things up? You know, where do we need to redeploy dollars? Where do we need to move money from? Direct mail, you know, I'm a real estate investor. I send out about 1 million postcards a year for direct mail looking for motivated sellers. Our sales cycle is longer, so direct mail doesn't have the same punch. So we changed to cold calling. That wasn't something we use in our organization as heavily as we did direct mail. Now, cold calling is one of our heavier marketing channels right now during COVID because it's a cheaper spend and we're getting better results. So knowing your numbers, I think, is huge as well. So depending on your business, that's probably where I would start.
I think getting as close to your customers as possible right now and understanding what they're thinking and what they're going through will give you tons of opportunities. The YouTube side of my business is blowing up. One of the companies I invested into is a salsa dancing company. It's the largest salsa dancing school in maybe North America. We'll teach like 5,000 to 6,000 people a year how to dance salsa. Shut down. I mean, nobody's going salsa dancing in COVID. It's the least social distance friendly business. So, that company's shifting to an online model. And I told Alex, who's running it, you need to call every one of our students. Like, I need you to call 50 to 100 students every day and ask how they're doing. Like, even there's a big win. Just ask how they're doing, how they're dealing with it, because people don't have connection right now. And then talk about the online model and get their feedback. And in talking to them, they'll tell you what they need, what they like, what they don't like, how to shift, how to change. So if you already have a business, I would call every single customer that you've got that's been working with you or bought from you in the past 12 to 24 months. Ask how they're doing and then look for opportunities, because you might be, to Don's point about cold calling working, like everybody's at home right now. You might be the only person who's actually calling them and talking to them and asking how they're doing, where maybe their own friends and family aren't talking to them right now. Like, we're craving human connection right now. And so I think it's a huge opportunity for people.
Agreed.
Don Costa in the house. Where do you want people to go to dive deeper? Is it Flip Talk? Is it your IG? Like, where do we learn more?
Obviously, they can reach out to me at the Real Don Costa on Instagram. Would love as many people to ask any questions they want there. You can email me at don@fliptalk.com. The podcast is everywhere, Flip Talk Podcast. There's actually 2 versions of it out. So, and then you can find the website at fliptalk.com.
Awesome. Well,
so yeah, we're doing a virtual event too. Can I share that?
Yeah. What do you got?
We're doing a virtual event the first week of December. And if you go to Flip Talk Virtual Summit, you can check out the details there for something you're interested. Definitely, we'd love to have you.
And what's happening there? What's the virtual event?
We're going to talk about building a real estate investing company, flipping houses, wholesaling houses, making money in real estate, and we're going to share. We're going to share what's working in our business right now.
And what's the date and the website again?
It is fliptalkvirtualsummit.com, and I believe it's the 2nd through the 5th. I should know those dates right now, but
fliptalkvirtualsummit.com. Okay, the details are there. December, go check it out. Don, appreciate the time, the answers, the love. Thank you, man.
All right, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Cheers.